New York Yankees fans have been paying very close attention to what is happening during this spring training, and there's a very good reason for that. While many eyes are naturally drawn to the established stars of the roster, something equally fascinating is unfolding behind the scenes. A new generation of talent is beginning to show flashes of what could be the next era of baseball in the Bronx. And three young prospects in particular are starting to make serious noise as the organization prepares for the 2026 season. Every year, spring training brings its own storylines, but this time the focus has shifted strongly toward the farm system and the players who could soon make the leap to the major league stage. According to the latest prospect rankings, three names have clearly separated themselves as the most exciting young pieces in the Yankees pipeline. Lombard Jr. sits at the very top of that list, followed by right-handed pitcher Lrange and another intriguing arm in Elmer Rodriguez. Each one represents a different part of the future blueprint the Yankees are trying to build. The excitement surrounding these prospects is not just hype. During the early days of spring training, they've already started to give fans a glimpse of why the organization believes so strongly in their potential. When young players begin producing results against high-level competition, even in exhibition games, people around baseball start to pay attention. And right now, that attention is definitely being directed toward these three rising talents. Lombard Jr. has been one of the most talked-about prospects in the entire Yankee system for a while now, and his performance this spring has only strengthened that reputation. The young infielder has looked extremely comfortable at the plate, showing both patience and power in a small but very impressive sample of at-bats. In just 10 opportunities at the plate during spring action, Lombard has produced a batting average of .400, along with 1 home run, 6 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and an on-base plus slugging number that has turned plenty of heads. But what really grabbed attention was one specific moment. Lombard stepped into the batter's box and delivered a leadoff home run against Garrett Crochet, a pitcher known for his elite-level stuff. That swing sent a message to anyone wondering whether Lombard could handle major league caliber pitching. When a young player launches a home run against an arm of that quality, it instantly changes the conversation surrounding his readiness and long-term ceiling. Of course, Lombard's value goes far beyond what he can do with the bat. Inside the organization, he is widely viewed as a player with exceptional defensive instincts. His movements at shortstop look smooth and natural, and his range in the infield has impressed coaches throughout the development system. The combination of defensive reliability and offensive upside is exactly what teams dream of when developing a cornerstone infielder. Because of that, there is growing speculation about what the future might look like at the shortstop position for the Yankees. The current situation in the infield has been a topic of debate among fans, especially when discussing long-term plans. Lombard is still developing and likely needs more time before becoming a full-time major league contributor, but his trajectory suggests that the organization views him as a potential everyday shortstop down the road. That belief is one of the reasons why the Yankees have been extremely protective of Lombard throughout trade discussions in recent seasons. Whenever conversations about potential deals surfaced, his name was often mentioned as a player the organization simply did not want to move. Prospects come and go in baseball, but when a franchise identifies someone they believe could anchor an important position for years, they tend to hold on tightly. The early signs from spring training only reinforce that approach. Lombard is showing confidence, discipline, and an ability to rise to the moment against strong competition. Even though it is still a development phase and expectations must remain realistic, performances like the one he delivered against Crochet demonstrate why the Yankees continue to see him as such a valuable piece of their long-term plans. And while Lombard is grabbing headlines with the bat and glove, the Yankees are also watching very closely as two young pitchers begin carving out their own narratives during camp. Pitching depth has always been one of the most critical elements of a successful organization, and both Lrange and Elmer Rodriguez are starting to show that they might eventually play important roles on the mound for the franchise. Lrange, in particular, brings a level of versatility that makes him extremely intriguing. Some evaluators see him as a potential starting pitcher who could handle a regular spot in a major league rotation. Others believe his explosive velocity and aggressive pitching style might translate even better in a bullpen role, where he could dominate in late-inning situations. That kind of flexibility can be incredibly valuable for a team like the Yankees. If a pitcher has the ability to thrive in multiple roles, it gives the coaching staff far more options when building a roster. Lrange possesses the kind of power arm that can make hitters uncomfortable immediately, and during his spring appearances, he has already started showing flashes of what that could look like at the next level. In his first 2 outings of the spring, Lrange logged 5 2/3 innings while posting an earned run average of 1.59. He recorded 6 strikeouts and displayed the type of velocity that has scouts buzzing about his potential. When a pitcher consistently touches elite speed with his fastball, it forces opposing hitters into defensive swings, and that is exactly the kind of pressure a late-inning reliever can create. At the same time, the Yankees understand that development is not always a straight path. The organization currently has several established starters competing for spots in the rotation, which means Lrange may initially find his opportunity through the bullpen if he reaches the major league soon. That possibility does not limit his future. In fact, it might allow him to contribute sooner while continuing to refine the rest of his arsenal. The idea of adding a power arm like Lrange to the back end of the bullpen is something that could dramatically change the way the Yankees close out games. Late innings often determine the outcome of tight matchups, and having multiple pitchers capable of overpowering hitters gives the team a huge strategic advantage. If his development continues on this trajectory, Lrange could become one of those intimidating arms managers rely on when the pressure is at its highest. Another name that continues to gain attention inside the Yankee system is Elmer Rodriguez, a pitcher who quietly built an impressive reputation throughout the minor leagues and is now getting closer than ever to reaching the major league stage. While Lombard represents the future of the infield and Lrange offers explosive potential on the mound, Rodriguez might be the most complete starting pitching prospect the organization currently has developing. Rodriguez's path to this moment is especially interesting because he arrived in the Yankees system through a trade that initially sparked plenty of debate around baseball. At the time of the deal, many observers focused on the immediate impact of the player moving in the opposite direction and assumed that the Yankees had taken a long-term gamble. But as time has passed, Rodriguez has steadily proven why the organization believed in his potential. During the previous season in the minor leagues, Rodriguez put together numbers that were impossible to ignore. Over the course of 150 innings, he posted an earned run average of 2.58 while striking out 176 hitters. Those numbers reflect not only durability, but also a level of command and consistency that young pitchers sometimes struggle to maintain across such a large workload. Strikeout totals like that reveal a pitcher who understands how to attack hitters. Rodriguez mixes his pitches effectively, keeping batters off balance while still maintaining the ability to generate swings and misses when he needs them most. For a developing starter, that combination is one of the strongest indicators that his skills could translate successfully to the major leagues. As spring training unfolds, Rodriguez has begun giving the Yankees another glimpse of what he might offer at the next level. In his first 2 appearances during camp, he worked 6 innings and recorded a 1-0 record while finishing with an earned run average of 3. He also added 5 strikeouts and maintained a solid command profile that resulted in a respectable walk and hit rate across those outings. Even though spring training statistics always come with a small sample size, they still serve an important purpose. For young players like Rodriguez, these games represent valuable opportunities to face experienced hitters and adapt to the pace of major league competition. The results so far suggest that he is more than capable of handling that challenge. What makes Rodriguez particularly intriguing is the role he could eventually occupy within the Yankees rotation. Some scouts believe he has the ceiling of a number 2 starter, someone who can consistently take the mound near the top of the rotation and deliver quality outings deep into games. Others see the potential for him to evolve even further if his development continues progressing at the same rate. For now, The expectation is that Rodriguez will likely begin the season at the AAA level. That step is not a setback. In fact, it is often the final stage of preparation before a pitcher receives his opportunity in the major leagues. The Yankees understand that maintaining depth is essential over the long course of a season, and having a pitcher like Rodriguez ready to step in at any moment could become extremely valuable. Injuries, fatigue, and unexpected struggles are part of every baseball season. Teams that succeed over the long term are usually the ones that can call upon capable reinforcements when those situations arise. Rodriguez fits perfectly into that category. If a need appears in the rotation at any point, he could very easily be the first name the organization considers when looking for help. The Yankees have used this type of strategy before. In recent years, they have shown a willingness to give young pitchers opportunities once they demonstrate readiness at the minor league level. Sometimes those early call-ups are designed simply to give a player experience, allowing him to adjust gradually to the intensity of major league competition before becoming a permanent part of the roster. That approach could very well apply to Rodriguez as the season develops. Even if he does not begin the year on the major league roster, the door remains open for him to make an appearance once circumstances create the right opportunity. When that moment comes, the organization will be watching closely to see how his minor league success translates against the best hitters in the world. What makes this entire situation especially exciting for Yankees fans is the possibility of seeing multiple young talents rise through the system at the same time. Lombard, Lrange, and Rodriguez all represent different pieces of a larger puzzle. When organizations manage to develop position players and pitchers simultaneously, it creates the foundation for sustained success. The timing of their development also aligns with an important transitional period for the franchise. Veteran stars continue to carry the team in the present, but every successful organization must prepare for the future long before those transitions become necessary. Prospects like these provide the bridge between one competitive era and the next. Imagining what that future could look like is part of what makes following the farm system so fascinating. A few years from now, it is not difficult to picture Lombard patrolling the infield while Rodriguez takes the mound in a big game and Lrange fires high-velocity fastballs in the late innings. When young talent begins to emerge together, it creates the possibility of building a roster that can compete year after year. There are also other rising players within the system who could eventually join that group, forming the core of the next Yankees generation. When multiple prospects develop simultaneously, the organization gains flexibility in how it builds the roster. Some players become everyday contributors, others provide depth, and a few may even become valuable trade assets that help strengthen different areas of the team. Right now, though, the focus remains on development and patience. Prospects rarely follow identical timelines, and the path to the major leagues often includes challenges along the way. What matters most is that the Yankees appear to have identified several young players with the potential to impact the franchise in meaningful ways. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. A wave of intrigue is quietly building around the New York Yankees, and according to a well-connected insider, the Bronx Bombers are positioning themselves for a significant move that could reshape the infield. The respected journalist has confidently suggested that the front office is not only exploring the market, but is actively preparing to land an all-star shortstop before the trade deadline window closes. While no names have been publicly confirmed, the certainty in the reporter's tone has fueled intense speculation across the league. Behind the scenes, the Yankees are believed to be dissatisfied with the current balance of their roster, particularly when it comes to consistency and offensive production at shortstop. The sense is that the organization views this position as the final piece of a larger puzzle, one that could elevate the team from contender to clear favorite. Executives are said to be willing to part with high-upside prospects if it means acquiring a proven star with postseason experience. Rival teams are reportedly aware of the Yankees' intentions, and this has created a subtle tension in trade discussions. Some front offices may attempt to drive up the price, knowing New York's urgency, while others see an opportunity to cash in on a deep farm system. What makes the rumor especially compelling is the assertion that internal approval has already been granted, suggesting this is less about if and more about when. Fans and analysts alike are reading between the lines, interpreting recent lineup decisions and scouting activity as hints of an imminent deal. The idea of an all-star shortstop arriving in pinstripes has reignited optimism and debate, with many wondering how such a move would shift the clubhouse dynamic and the team's identity. For now, the Yankees remain publicly silent, but if the journalist's guarantee proves accurate, the baseball world may soon witness one of the most talked-about acquisitions of the season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.